Have you ever wondered how Netflix just knows what show you want to binge next? Or how your favorite apps even work? Well, a lot of that magic comes down to a single programming language, Python. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how you can get started with one of the most powerful and surprisingly beginner-friendly tools in the entire world of code.
So we're really going to dig into one central question here. What is it about Python that makes it the absolute go-to language for someone just starting out? Why has it become this powerhouse that's used by literally everyone, from tiny startups all the way up to Google? Let's find out.
Okay, first things first. Before we can really appreciate its power, we have to get to the bottom of what Python actually is. At its heart, Python is what we call a general-purpose language. The best way to think about it is like a Swiss Army knife. You wouldn't use just a screwdriver for every job, right? Well, Python is that multi-tool in a coder's toolbox that can handle a massive range of different problems.
And this versatility is what makes Python so incredibly cool. You could be building the back end of a website like Instagram one day, and the very next, you could be analyzing massive data sets about climate change. It's the language that helps power self-driving cars, and it's the creative engine behind some animated movies. It is truly one language with a staggering number of uses.
Now, one of Python's secret weapons, especially for beginners, is that it's an interpreted language. So what does that mean? Imagine you're getting instant feedback as you write. You type a command, and boom, the computer responds right away. This kind of line-by-line conversation makes learning, and let's be honest, fixing your mistakes so much faster and way less frustrating.
Here is a perfect way to think about this. An interpreted language like Python is like having a live translator with you. They translate for you sentence by sentence. If you say something wrong, they stop you and correct you right there. A compiled language, on the other hand, is like translating an entire book from start to finish and then handing it to you. If there was a typo on page 1, you won't find out until the very end. Total headache, right?
And here's another thing that just makes your life easier. Python is dynamically typed. In a lot of other languages, you have to formally tell the computer, hey, this variable here is a number, or this one is text. Python is smart enough to just figure that out on its own. It makes your code so much cleaner, shorter, and way more forgiving when you're just finding your footing.
So you've got this flexible, forgiving language that gives you instant feedback. It's really no surprise that this leads us to our next big question. Why on earth did Python take over the world?
The reason for Python's massive popularity is this perfect balance. On one side, you have this beautiful simplicity, a language that reads almost like plain English, which makes it so much easier to learn. But on the other side, you have raw, incredible power, the ability to handle extremely complex, professional-level tasks. It's this unique mix that makes it a favorite for everyone, from an absolute beginner to a senior engineer at Google. Okay, so maybe you're sold. Python sounds pretty great. The next logical question is, well, how do you actually start? The good news is, there's a really clear and manageable roadmap that can take you from zero to hero. It's a simple three-step approach. First, you master the basics. Then, you build on top of that foundation with more advanced concepts. And finally, you get to specialize in a field that actually gets you excited. Let's break that down a little. Step 1 is all about those fundamentals. Think of this as learning the alphabet and the basic grammar of a new language. You'll learn the syntax, how to store information using variables, and how to use loops and logic to help your program make decisions. This stuff is the foundation for absolutely everything else that follows.
So, once you've got the basics down, you move on to more advanced practical skills. This is where you learn how to handle errors without your program crashing and start to build more complex things. And, most importantly, this step is all about getting your hands dirty with projects. This is where theory becomes reality and where you really start to feel that confidence build.
And that brings us to step 3, which is honestly the most exciting part, choosing your niche. This is where you get to take all those foundational skills and point them toward a field you're actually passionate about.
And there are so many awesome paths you can take. While the course that inspired this explainer really focuses on data science, the skills you build are completely transferable. Whether you're drawn to web development, machine learning, or even designing your own games, that Python foundation is going to serve you well. Now, this is the most important thing to remember. Those first 2 steps, mastering the basics and the advanced concepts, they are your golden ticket. They're the key that unlocks the door to any of these fields. Once you have that solid foundation, you have the freedom to go anywhere and explore whatever niche captures your imagination.
So, you have the map for your journey. Now, you just need the right vehicle to get you there. Let's talk for a second about setting up your workspace for success.
Now look, you could use a basic terminal to write Python, but that's kind of like trying to paint a masterpiece with only a pencil. For learning, and especially for working with data, something called a Jupyter Notebook is an absolute game changer. Instead of just plain text, you get these rich, interactive outputs, like charts and graphs. Plus, you can run your code in these small, manageable chunks called cells, which is just perfect for experimenting.
So a Jupyter Notebook is basically this interactive document where you can write and run code, immediately see the output, create visualizations, and write notes all in the same place. It's an incredible environment for learning, for telling stories with data, and it's what we highly recommend for getting started.
So, we've covered what Python is, why it's so perfect for beginners, and a clear path to get you started. You officially have the map. The only question left is, what will you build first?